Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Athletic Studio podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Kate Oman.
I'm Gordon Chommanivong.
Can you believe this is episode 25?
No, actually.
We are at the big 25, guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So today on the agenda, we are going to be chatting 5 fat loss truths. So diving into the nitty-gritties of fat loss, and obviously, of course, it can be such a positive experience, but we want to also let you guys know the insights and maybe the more challenging aspects that we can find, and something that is truly good to consider before you are committing and entering your fat loss phase.
Yeah, this is a good podcast episode, Kate. 5 fat loss truths. Whenever I go into a weight loss or fat loss phase myself, or if I'm coaching clients, I pretty much just think of robot mode. That's just my personality. I don't get too emotionally attached to it because I've gone through it before. I know what to expect.
Yeah, but for the listeners, I think we'll go through, yes, the robot mode, but also the emotional, because I think for a lot of people, it's more emotive than anything. It can be a really hard thing for a lot of people, and we'll, share our advice because, as you said, you've done it before. You've done a few photo shoots, so you've got some skin in the game.
Yeah.
So,
but I understand. People have friends, family, other commitments.
100%. Life gets in the way, but
Exactly.
We'll get into it. So first home truth is you're going to be hungry, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can do as many things to offload this as possible, such as meal timing, food volume, making sure you're hydrated, keeping yourself occupied. But at the end of the day, you are putting yourself into a position of a deficit, which means your body is trying to find ways to provide itself with energy, basically.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit hungry. That's probably one of the first things I ask clients how their appetite is going.
Yeah.
And a really good podcast on this topic as well is the Lane Norton one, the Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. What he says as well is that you are going to be hungry. Sometimes people, they don't move enough to get that particular feeling just because your body can subconsciously doesn't want to be hungry.
Yeah, no, that's really true. And it'll be different for everyone depending on how much you're intaking and what you're used to. But yes, something definitely to lean into to a degree is, yes, you will be hungry at times. I wouldn't suggest the feeling of being ravenous. I wouldn't suggest that to anyone other than a bodybuilder who is maybe a few weeks out from their comp. You shouldn't be feeling ravenous. So it might be needing to look into your nutrition a little bit more and making sure you're having a bit more fiber or a bit more volume. But that is our fat loss truth number 1.
Yeah, so there's going to be levels of hunger, as you were saying, Kate. There's ravenous, there's a little bit hungry. To find out what level of hunger you should be at is, and this is where someone's maybe a little bit more emotional, they don't like tracking themselves on the scale. So sometimes you can be more hungry than you need to be.
So it doesn't have to be that hard.
You don't have to, it doesn't have to be that hard.
Yeah.
If you're actually losing half a kilo per week is a bare ass minimum, or even up to a kilo per week. Or if your waist measurement is reducing and you're not that hungry, or you're not hungry at all, then that's great.
100%. But yes, I just say stay conscious with your hunger cues. And if you're getting super hungry by the end of the day and you're getting towards dinner and you're overeating, then that's undoing your work. Also, giving yourself a bit more food to counteract that is potentially a good idea too. So it's just being smart with your hunger and fullness cues for sure.
Hunger is a part of it.
It is. Were you hungry towards the end of your photo shoot? Remember?
Oh yeah, of course, always. Yeah. But then you're more thinking of the actual event and the outcome.
The goal.
You don't really think about the food until after.
100%. That's, I think, why a strong why is really important. All right. Fat loss truth number 2 is your fat loss potentially could stall or you could plateau.
It's a given. I anticipate it. I always tell clients, coaches, look, when you train, keep going, keep doing what's working until we hit a plateau, and then we'll figure out what to do.
100%. When people find themselves in a plateau, there are a few things you can do. We'll chat through a few. The reason why basically you hit a plateau is because your metabolism catches up with itself in a sense that you are at a lower body weight now. So you're not needing as many calories to function, or you might not be moving as much, things like that. So you just simply are now at your new maintenance. So that is a potential indication to go a little bit more aggressive if that's what you're after, if you're after kind of faster results. So lowering calories a little bit, or potentially taking a diet break. And I think we talk to our clients a lot about diet breaking, because we have the thought pattern of we want long-term health success. So coming out of that fat loss phase and maybe increasing calories for a client, even if it's 200 calories a day, that might even see them lose more weight because they've got a bit more energy to move around and they're actually taking the stairs instead of the lift. And it's all these little things. You're not stuck if you stall or plateau. It's just about making the right decision or taking the right steps to get yourself out of there.
That's a good point. The one about making the right decision as well. So to help make the right decision between if you need to go a little bit more aggressive or if you need a diet break. So with our online clients, something that we track is their motivation levels, their energy levels, their hunger levels as well. So we had a client who was definitely trending in the right direction. And then for 1 week, she had to go into work and she had a few more social meals. Her hunger levels were really high, but her motivation, her energy levels were still really high too. What we said to her was, look, let's push it out. Let's not change anything. Let's just keep on this deficit and just go hard for the next week because your motivation's there, your energy levels are there. And last week you were out of structure. So you were away at work. And then what happened was all of a sudden her next check-in, her weight was down, her waist circumference was down. And then all of a sudden those hunger levels have not disappeared, but she's actually less hungry, but she was on the same nutrition as she was previously as well.
Yeah, I think that's why working with a coach is so important because sometimes you just got to put your trust in them so they can like make the because you might be in an emotional state, they can make the right decisions based on facts and science and they can back themselves. And if you back them, I'm sure that, it'll definitely work out because they've got the knowledge. So it's really important to, I guess, partner with the coach in that regard. Point number 3 is you can't stay lean all year round. You can, but you're probably going to have a pretty shit time, to be fair. So this is when we're talking about getting to lower body fat percentage, like that what we feel like is out of our healthy range. So it feels like a little bit uncomfortable in terms that you are hungry, you're pushing, you have to get your steps in. It's a bit of a push to get these things done. That's when you are at that lean level. For females, it could be hormones are feeling a little bit out of whack. You may lose your cycle. Things like that is negative implication from being super lean. What would you say?
You just got to understand and be aware of like your natural body type, right?
Yeah.
So if someone's an ectomorph, then you can't compare yourself to the Pilates instructor who was always lean all the time, who hasn't really had to necessarily lose weight.
100%.
That's just their body type. But also if your job requires you to be lean all the time, so if you're, obviously a lot's changed these days, but back in the day, fashion models or whatever, they would be required to be at a certain weight and they'll need to, be in shape all the time.
Boxers and jockeys and things.
Yeah, jockeys. Yeah. If it's required for your work, then it's actually probably a lot easier.
Yeah, it's different, right? Yeah.
They've probably learned how to manage their lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you're just a natural, a mesomorph body type who's going to require a bit of effort to lose weight and stay in shape, it's just what are you willing to sacrifice to be there?
Yeah, that's true.
Like you are going to sacrifice social events, you're going to sacrifice getting stronger as well. So you're not likely to get strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot more challenging to get strong and be in a calorie deficit. For sure. It's just basically being self-reflecting and saying, all right, where's my healthy at? If I'm a bit below that, then okay, this might be a little bit of a grind to keep and sustain. And hormonally, I think being at your healthy for majority of the year is probably the best place to be. And where you'll be like getting the most benefit from your training as well.
And you will still be at your optimal shape. But where you are at that healthy point, hormonally, physically, you still, trust me, you're going to be looking good, feeling good.
Yeah, 100%.
Energy level's going to be super high.
Yeah. Another fat loss truth is socializing can become more difficult. So this means sometimes when you're going out for dinner, you want to stay super lean. We don't always know what's in the food. So you have to make more of an educated or calculated decision if that is your goal. So potentially going for the white fish and salad instead of the burger, things like that. So small sacrifices along the way definitely can become more challenging.
If you're on a fat loss phase, the blander the meals, the better. Of course, you can always make it nice, but I just like to dumb things down, making those healthier decisions when it comes to social events. I think Lane Norton, what he said in that particular podcast was with packaged foods, there's like a 20%.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that scary?
That's crazy.
We'll just tell listeners, or packaged food, there can be a 20% discrepancy of
the
under
calories.
Or over. Yeah, say if the calories on the back of the packet say 200, they could actually be like, what's that, 220 or whatever. Yeah, that's why I guess it's best. That's why you see like a lot of bodybuilders in their prep, they don't eat any packaged food. It's all just like lean beef, rice, potatoes, all whole foods because you can track that because it's all the same. Whereas packaged food is so ambiguous and Yeah.
It helps if you go to the same cafe or if you get takeout for the same place, it becomes easier because if you're just having that thing consistently and you're tracking your weight, it's going down, you're tracking your body composition, it's going in the right direction, then you don't really need to make any changes. Yeah, because it's the calorie discrepancy. You're taking that into account.
But yeah, more so as well, just going out for drinks with friends, going out for brunch, these things will definitely add up. So if you're in a fat loss phase, sometimes you might have to sacrifice it, which isn't a negative thing for sure. You can potentially go for a coffee and a walk with a friend. Still, you can socialize in different ways, but more being in Melbourne, the food culture is huge. I think going out for dinner is always such a beautiful thing to do with friends. We just might need to make some sacrifices there.
Yeah, that's right. They're having good communication with friends. If they're understanding that you're on this particular journey or if you've got a goal, they should definitely be supportive. It's not hard for me if we go out to a cafe or a restaurant, and if everyone else is having burgers, I would always have something healthy. Whereas if other people, I know if they're a people pleaser or they find it hard to say no, then if everyone else is getting the burger, then okay, I'll get a burger. It's okay to do things for yourself as well.
100%, yeah, and it definitely doesn't have to be negative. And as we said, just surrounding yourself with people who understand, who actually want you to achieve your goal as well is really important.
Yeah.
And fifth and final fat loss truth is specifically for getting super shredded. This is what we are more so talking about here, is you should be in and out relatively quickly of this fat loss phase. We just don't want it to be too long term because then it can have its negative implications really. For instance, we don't want to see fat loss phases for really, again, unless you're bodybuilding, longer than 3 months, just because of the adaptations that the metabolism can have and how it can downregulate and how it can start to affect hormones, just energy and overall quality of life. If you're a go-getter and you absolutely love grinding and doing that, then absolutely go for it, as well, as long as you're doing it in a healthy way. But realistically, for the health and longevity of your body and your training and your mindset, I think keeping it short and sharp is.
Yeah, I mean, it's very common with the group fitness 12-week challenges where they're just eating chicken and broccoli or those low calories doing group training. A lot of them, okay, they might get some results, but they just rebound straight back and then put more weight on. We have a lot of people that come in here who've done that in the past. But even the way that we approach clients is through a wave method, or they will have some type of refeed method, or they are going in a phase of fat loss and then muscle building and then fat loss. So, and you're going to look a lot better by having phases of building muscle.
For sure.
As well.
Yeah, and your metabolism will be higher, you'll be happier. When you go into your next fat loss phase, if you decide to do that, it'll be a lot easier. Your metabolism will be in a healthy spot.
And then when you're super strong, you become really confident, especially with women, if they can get to a point where they're, deadlifting 3 times their body weight, squatting, doing chin-ups. It would be an empowering feeling, You're not likely to do that in the fat loss phase.
Absolutely. That wraps up our episode, Gordon. Anything else to add?
Yeah, there is actually something that I'd like to add, Kate. So sometimes you can do it intuitively with weight loss and fat loss with your nutrition, but this is why you got to review your progress at least every week or every 2 weeks. There's nothing worse if you keep doing something that's not working and then a month later you're like, why didn't this work, right? I like to make changes relatively quickly. So just for example, if you're not tracking your food and the weight loss isn't happening, then it may be something that you do need to do. And I know there's lots of things around. You don't need to track for life, but you want to see what's actually happening. It may not necessarily have to do with the food, actually. You could just be tracking your food and you're doing everything correctly with your food, but maybe it's tracking your activity. You're not getting enough activity in. So if you're doing it yourself, it's being really honest with yourself. Like for me, it would be just recently, I'm getting 7,000 steps in, but I could definitely probably do 10,000 to 12,000 steps, and I could probably do that.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to another episode. If you liked it, make sure you are following our Instagram and our Spotify or Apple Play.
Follow us everywhere. We're on YouTube now too. So.
And on YouTube, as Gordon said, I think he said in our last episode, but we are doing full form workout videos on our YouTube. So if you're interested, definitely go and check that out.
Yeah.
That is all from us. We'll see you guys in our next episode. Thanks so much for listening.
See you guys.
If you found this episode useful, it would mean the world to us if you shared, rated, and liked this podcast. It's how we keep it alive.
Also, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Athletic Studio. We'd love to connect with you and see how your fitness and health improves with this newfound knowledge. Until next time.